Good morning. Welcome to 모닝스페셜. 여러분 안녕하세요. 9월 3일 화요일 최수진의 모닝스페셜입니다. We are today literally living in the future, in a world that was predicted in science and literature. In other words, we're living among things and technologies that weren't thought as being possible 100 years ago. But it doesn't stop there, because things that we think are impossible now will surely become true anytime soon. 하늘을 나는 버스, 우주에서의 하룻밤, 그리고 뇌와 연결되는 인터넷. 영국의 미래학자 6명이 상상한 The Future in Focus Report에 담긴 지구의 모습인데요. 50년 뒤, 오는 2069년을 상상한 이 보고서에는 런던에서 뉴욕까지 40분이면 도착하는 로켓 여행, 해리포터에 등장하는 공중 스포츠 퀴디치, 수중 고속도로, 우주 호텔, 스스로 청소하는 주택 등도 가능할 거라고 합니다. 모든 발명은 상상에서 시작된다고 하죠. 자, 청취자 여러분, 여러분이 그려보는 50년 뒤 지구의 모습 어떤 것들이 있을까요? Well, although it's even difficult to catch up with the latest technology, we're already asking ourselves, what's next? And with that in mind, let me give you today's quiz question. A popular saying teaches us that necessity is the something of invention. 1번, necessity is the mother of invention. 2번, necessity is the emo of invention. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 떡볶이 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감, 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 또 여러분이 생각하는 이런 기술은 꼭 있었으면 좋겠다, 꼭 필요한 기술, 원하는 기술이 어떤 건지도 알려주세요. Well, let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
Category 5 Hurricane Dorian has struck the Bahamas and the Caribbean Sea.
초강력 허리케인 도리안이 카리브해 바하마를 강타했습니다.
Amid ongoing protests in Hong Kong, thousands of students there have boycotted the first day of the new term.
홍콩의 송환법 반대 시위가 격화하는 가운데 총파업과 학생들의 동맹 휴학이 시작됐습니다.
A parliamentary showdown is expected in the UK between Prime Minister Boris Johnson and lawmakers who oppose him over a no-deal Brexit.
브렉시트를 강행하려는 보리스 존슨 영국 총리와 그를 저지하려는 여야 의원들이 오늘 결전에 돌입합니다.
Saudi Arabia has allowed female instructors to teach male students.
사우디아라비아에서 여교사가 남학생을 가르칠 수 있게 됐습니다.
Japan has started its controversial annual dolphin hunt in the coastal town of Taiji.
돌고래 사냥터로 유명한 일본 다이지에서 올해 첫 돌고래 사냥이 시작됐습니다. And for the headlines and more, I'm joined by Walter. Good morning, 선생님.
Good morning to you, and a very good morning special, as always, to all of our listeners and any viewers that we may have on our various platforms. Hope everyone's having a great day so far.
네. 애청자 방양숙님이요. 오, 수진쌤 작정하고 예쁘시기로 하는 것 같아요. 라고 보내주셨는데요. 오늘도 이쁘심 이렇게 보내셨어요. 아우, 감사함.
Yeah, very nice. A little extra something going on there today. Is there a special occasion or is it just
Every day is a special occasion.
Oh, that's a very optimistic attitude.
안부영님이요. 인사만 하고 참여할 기회를 자꾸 놓쳤는데요. 모두 굿모닝입니다 하셨어요. 굿모닝. 김금희님이요. 멋진 아침입니다. Wow, yeah.
Also
like
very
that.
optimistic.
Absolutely. I hope you're well, everyone. Let us know what you think we should have in the future. In about 50 years from now, what sort of technologies do you picture yourself using or having in your society? What about you, 선생님?
Well, 50 years from now, I will be very much towards the latter end of my life. I might be like the diver we spoke about yesterday. I think I'll be exactly his age.
Is
So
that right? Yeah.
maybe I'll be able to use some new high-tech scuba diving equipment.
Maybe. That would be really exciting. Well, I'm a bit younger than you, but I'd
Yes.
like to be alongside your scuba diving adventure if you
All
wouldn't
right.
mind.
It's a date.
Okay. 자, 50년 후 상상만 해도 굉장히 신이 나네요. 정말 청소를 알아서 하는 집. 요게 저는 사실 좀 솔깃합니다. 왜냐면 집 청소 쉽지 않거든요. All right. Well, let us know what you think. In the meantime, we will go over the headlines.
Headline number 1. Category 5 Hurricane Dorian has struck the Bahamas and the Caribbean Sea.
초강력 허리케인 도리안이 카리브해 바하마를 강타했습니다.
So the early reports here from Hurricane Dorian had reported that so far just one casualty had been reported, a young boy who was reported by his grandmother to have drowned in the rising waters. However, there have been tragically updates to that number already. The Prime Minister, actually, of Bahamas, Prime Minister Hubert Minnis, has said that 5 people have been killed there as a result of Hurricane Dorian. He has been calling the hurricane the strongest ever to hit the area and saying that they are in the midst of a historic tragedy there.
네, 괴물 허리케인이라는 별명이 붙었을 정도로 굉장히 강력한 허리케인인데요. 지금 말씀해 주신 것처럼 현재 인명 피해가 5명이 사망했다라는 외신의 보도가 들어오고 있습니다. 뿐만 아니라 굉장히 많은 사람들이 지금 대피를 하고 있고요. 정확히 어디서 어떻게 발생을 하고 있는 허리케인인지 보도록 하겠습니다.
Indeed, there have been videos on social media showing the rising waters there, of course, around houses, the devastating scenes of homes being destroyed, roofs being ripped off, insulation and other debris being floating around the water there. As we noted, this is classified as a hurricane, a Category 5, hurricane. That is the highest of 5 categories.
Yep.
To reach that category, there must be sustained winds. Those are winds that blow at a speed for at least 1 minute. Sustained winds of more than 252 kilometers per hour. There have been reports of gusts of wind blowing over 300 kilometers per hour.
Exactly. 시속 300km에 육박하는 엄청난 바람이 불면서 이제 5등급, 그러니까 최고 등급으로 이 허리케인이 분류가 됐었지만요. 업데이트를 보니까 지금 4등급으로 내려갔다고는 합니다. 그래도 250km의 속도를 보이고 있어요. 굉장히 여전히 강한 허리케인이고 이 위치를 지금 지도상으로 보면은 바하마스가 그러니까 미국의 그 플로리다 옆이죠. 그래서 이제 계속 북상을 하면서 이쪽 플로리다, 웨스트 palm 비치 이쪽 지역에 굉장히 많은 피해가 오늘 또는 내일 예상이 되고 있고요. 이미 많은 사람들이 대피를 했습니다.
Yes, indeed. As that hurricane makes its way northward and veers slightly to the east, officials in the United States have declared an emergency in many areas. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered in some parts of the U.S. as well, although in other parts it has been so far not made mandatory to evacuate those areas. In Florida, one of the largest electrical companies there has assembled a team of 16,000 employees, the largest ever team that they've assembled, 16,000 to be prepared for any electrical outages to try to get that electricity back as soon as possible.
A lot of flights obviously have been cancelled along this route, as you can imagine. We are expecting not only strong winds, but also floods and downpours, which is, of course, what we do see in the case of hurricanes. But this one is especially quite a powerful one, a big and a catastrophic one, it does seem like as well, but we hope to see no more casualties coming out of it. About 1 million people have evacuated just in South Carolina and Georgia so far.
Well, as you did mention, and as often happens, when these hurricanes reach land, they do lose a little bit of their power because of the atmospheric conditions over the land. However, it is still expected to be at least Category 4. As you said, winds up to 250 kilometers per hour.
지금 보이는 라디오로 미국에서 그 바하마 지역에서 그 영상을 제가 띄워드리고 있습니다. 네, 그래서 오늘 이제 현지 시간 3일 그리고 4일 같은 경우는 플로리다에서 많은 피해가 예상이 되고요. 이게 결국 올라가면서 사우스 캐롤라이나, 노스 캐롤라이나까지도 영향을 많이 미칠 것으로 그렇게 예상이 되고 있습니다. 혹시 이 지역에서 듣고 계신 분이나 아니면 친척분, 가족분들이 계시다면은 반드시 유의를 해주시고요. 주의를 당부드리겠습니다. Let's go on to headline number 2.
Amid ongoing protests in Hong Kong, thousands of students there have boycotted the first day of the new term.
홍콩의 송환법 반대 시위가 격화하는 가운데 총파업과 학생들의 동맹 휴학이 시작됐습니다.
So this boycott of the term or the semester actually includes both university and secondary students. Those would be high school students. They marked the end of their summer break by skipping classes and not only that, not only just not going to class, but indeed holding rallies of their own, again in response to the ongoing protests that have been going on in Hong Kong. Thousands of students wearing similar gear to what many of the protesters wear, the helmets, the goggles, and the masks. They filled the grounds of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, holding banners saying boycott for freedom and shouting the slogan, Reclaim Hong Kong.
Looking at some of the estimated figures, we're looking at about 10,000 middle and high schoolers, about 30,000 university students, and they say that the number of students for middle and high schools was a little bit less than the university students because, of course, they are underage and there are certain repercussions that may rise from this. But nonetheless, a lot of students taking part in this, and it's not just students. Businesses as well, they are protesting against the government.
Yes, indeed, this is spreading to, as you say, not only the students, but also businesses as well. Focusing just on the students for a moment, the university students had called for a 2-week consecutive boycott of that semester, while secondary students have taken a slightly different approach given, as you said, their special circumstances.
Sure.
Secondary students have vowed to protest for 1 day a week until the protesters' demands are met.
중고등학생들 같은 경우에는 이제 휴학하는 규모라든지 이제 빈도수가 조금 덜한 편입니다만 그럼에도 불구하고 한 10,000여 명의 학생이 동참하고 있고요. 230여 개의 중고등학교에서 이 학생들이 함께 휴학을 하겠다라고 발표를 했습니다. 대학교 같은 경우에는 훨씬 더 규모가 크고요. 지속해서 한 2주 동안 휴학을 예고했는데 11개 대학교 그리고 교육기관의 학생회에서 동참을 하고 있습니다. 한 3만 명의 학생들이 동참을 하고 있어요. 뿐만 아니라 이제 의료계, 항공계, 건축, 금융, 사회복지 업종의 종사자들도 함께 총파업에 돌입했죠.
Yes, there have again been reports of transportation networks, subways, airports, buses being affected by the demonstrations. In some cases, it was, of course, deliberate. The demonstrators were deliberately holding open the doors of the subway so that they could not close. Of course, if the doors cannot close, the subway cannot leave the station, which then backs up the trains along that route. Also, I think if we could, to look at China's response to the ongoing protests there, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson on Monday issued a statement saying that the demonstrations in Hong Kong have, quote, completely exceeded the scope of freedom of assembly. They've evolved into extreme and violent actions.
It seems like the responses and the reactions between the two are escalating.
That is indeed the perfect word. Yes, they have been escalating on both sides, it's worth noting, but there have been shots fired by the police forces there. There have been more and more fires set, and so yes, escalating unfortunately is the case.
네, 홍콩 정부 그리고 중국 본토에서는 지금 계속해서 시위대를 강도 높게 비난하고 있습니다. 그래서 갈등이 쉽사리 잦아들 것 같지가 않은 그런 모습입니다. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 3. A parliamentary showdown is expected in the UK between Prime Minister Boris Johnson and lawmakers who oppose him over a no-deal Brexit.
브렉시트를 강행하려는 보리스 존슨 영국 총리와 그를 저지하려는 여야 의원들이 오늘 결전에 돌입합니다.
Yeah, some interesting and rather severe developments happening there. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has warned Conservative members of Parliament that they would be expelled from that party if they were to back new legislation this week designed to prevent a no-deal Brexit. They've been told that they must indeed not only vote against that new legislation. In fact, they have to vote with any legislation presented by the Boris Johnson government. An expression that comes to mind is toe the line. They must sort of follow the party politics.
Well, the deadline is October 31st.
For Brexit, yes.
For Brexit. That leaves us 5 weeks. And the Queen has actually allowed the government to suspend Parliament. And that's called a prorogation, as I understand it. If that happens, then the Parliament will not be able to get together to push forward any special bill, as it were, to stop the Prime Minister. And that seems to be the aim, and to, push ahead with Brexit. But lawmakers are saying we will do everything in our power to make sure we will stop a no-deal Brexit.
Yeah, it's an interesting development there as well. The suspension of Parliament is not uncommon. It does normally happen, but it normally happens towards the scheduled end of that Parliament as a means to transition between. What we're looking at here, of course, is a move by the Prime Minister Boris Johnson to dissolve Parliament early. And of course, that is what's very almost unprecedented here and adding really a lot of a new angle to these developments.
네, 지금 브렉시트 관련해서 계속 나오고 있는 표현 중에 좀 어려운 단어가 하나 있는데요. prorogation 또는 이제 동사로 prorogue라는 단어가 나오는데 이제 의회의 정지, 그러니까 정회를 말합니다. 그러니까 임시 방편이라고 볼 수도 있을 것 같아요. 좀 보류를 하는 것이다, 정지를 하는 것이다라고 볼 수 있겠는데 영국에서 지금 현재 여왕이 국회로 하여금 정회를 할 수 있게끔 이제 허락을 했다고 합니다. 이 말인즉슨 이제 국회의원들이 어떤 그 브렉시트, 노딜 브렉시트를 저지하려는 입법 절차를 좀 어렵게 하는 것이 아니냐라는 전문가들의 분석이 나오고 있거든요. 그런데 이제 5주밖에 안 남은 시점에서 국회의원들은 어떻게 해서든지 노딜 브렉시트는 막겠다. 프라임 미니스터 보리스 존슨의 현 방침을 저지하겠다라고 의지를 밝혔습니다.
And just very quickly to add one more level of complication to all of this, the Prime Minister there is working with a majority government in the House of Commons, a majority of just one MP. So if there were any expulsions, which we had talked about at the beginning of the story, that would then weaken the government to a minority government. So that's also an interesting complication.
Lots of complications there indeed. 네, 영국에서는요 이제 여름 휴회를 마치고 오늘 현지 시간 3일 개회합니다. Let's go on to our next story.
Headline number 4. Saudi Arabia has allowed female instructors to teach male students.
사우디아라비아에서 여교사가 남학생을 가르칠 수 있게 됐습니다.
Yeah, some developments there in Saudi Arabia related to public education in general, one most notably being that female teachers will now be permitted to teach boys in some 1,400 state-run schools across the kingdom for the very first time. According to the education ministry there, having women teach some 13.5% of the male student population will result in massive savings of about $500 million US.
Now, these are all primary schools or elementary schools, as they say in America. And this is the first time, as you said, that public schools will allow female teachers to teach male students. And this is all based on the Muslim faith, which the country really strongly follows. And according to that, men and women just simply do not do anything together in the same room on a public level, and this is going against that. Of course, it's following the times. But if you look at some private schools in Saudi Arabia, they already have female teachers teaching male students, and they have better grades, apparently.
Although I don't have reports on the grades, certainly there have been the practice of female teachers teaching male students in private schools for a number of years, really decades now. And so, of course, the General Department of Education in Saudi Arabia, managing those public schools, is looking towards these private schools that have been doing this very practice now for decades to try to benchmark their experiences.
네, 사립초등학교에서는 이미 오래전부터 여교사가 남학생들을 가르칠 수 있었다고 합니다. 사립초등학교는 또 교육 수준이 더 높다고 하죠. 그런 것에 비춰서 아마 이번에 사우디아라비아 정부가 국립초등학교에서도 여교사가 남학생들을 가르칠 수 있게 하자. 라는 그런 방침을 내린 것 같습니다. 이번에 처음이고요. 이렇게 되면은 앞으로 남학생의 한 13%가 여교사로부터 수업을 받을 수 있을 것으로 기대가 됩니다. Let's go on to our final headline.
Headline number 5. Japan has started its controversial annual dolphin hunt in the coastal town of Taiji.
돌고래 사냥터로 유명한 일본 다이지에서 올해 첫 돌고래 사냥이 시작됐습니다.
So this practice has been going on in that area for several years, again, even decades, but it really came to public attention, certainly in the West, in a documentary from 2009. That documentary would go on to be an award-winning documentary. It was entitled The Cove, and it was known for that scene showing the dolphins being pushed into this cove where they are slaughtered with knives in the shallow water or are forced to drown in that water. Dolphins that survive that attack then are sold to aquariums and marine parks.
Apparently, the whole slaughtering process is just absolutely gruesome. It takes about half an hour for a dolphin to die. And so that's an incredibly long period to suffer any sort of pain and torture in this case. The International Society obviously condemns this. And because of that, Japan last June decided to quit the international governing body that bans this sort of action.
Right, and we actually did report on that here in our segments on Japan's withdrawal from that treaty.
The IWC, I think it is.
Indeed, that was the one. Going ahead now with both whaling and dolphining here. Yes, you're right. Environmentalists do say that it does take about 30 minutes for the dolphins there to die of drowning or suffocation. On the other side, the fishermen in that area do say that the community's livelihood is dependent on that trade.
네, 다이지 마을은요. 일본 그 서부에 있는 굉장히 유명한 연안 도시죠. 그리고 그 영화 말씀해주신 The Cove, 슬픈 돌고래의 진실이라는 다큐멘터리 영화에서도 나왔었는데 2009년이니까 10년 전에 나왔던 다큐멘터리 영화네요. 그때 당시에도 이제 돌고래들이 이렇게 어떤 고문을 당하는 것 같은 모습을 우리가 굉장히 가슴 아프게 봤습니다. 계속해서 일본에서는 그런 사냥이 이어져 왔는데 작년에는 국제포경위원회죠. IWC에서 하지 말아라 라는 내용이 나왔습니다. 일본은 결국 IWC를 탈퇴했죠. 그리고 국제사회의 비난은 계속 이어지고 있습니다. Those were our headlines. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Our quiz this morning is back to just 2 possible answers and is short and sweet, so please listen carefully. A popular saying teaches us that necessity is the blank of invention. Would that be number 1, the mother of invention, or number 2, the emo of invention?
짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 떡볶이 세트 보내드리겠습니다. Our first song of the day is Up Where We Belong. This is Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warnes.